The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Final score from Arlington, Texas, 34-6. The Philadelphia Eagles come to town in Week 10 of the NFL season and hand the Cowboys their 6th loss of the campaign. First time since 2020 the Cowboys have lost at least 6 games or more. We've got a long way to go this season. Alongside Barry Church and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. This is Cowboys OT, wrapping up the Cowboys Week 10 matchup with the Eagles. And Barry, it was the first time since 2020 that the Cowboys have been held under 150 total yards. The defense shined in the first half at times. They put on some good film. You had 2 sacks from DeMarvion Overshown, 2 more from Micah Parsons. Had plenty of opportunities, but then turnovers reared their ugly head again. The lack of production reared its ugly head again. And the Cowboys fall for the 4th time at home in the 4th straight game as well.
Yeah, I like what I saw, from this Dallas Cowboys defense. A lot of those young guys out there, they're really starting to flourish in this defense, especially DeMarvion Overshown. You were able to see his speed going sideline to sideline, his just aggressiveness coming downhill on these running backs and quarterbacks. And like you said, he was able to sack the quarterback as well as take the football away from this Philadelphia team. I believe they took the ball away twice. Yeah. Had a fumble, had a great pick in the back of the end zone from Diggs. But to me, there's only so much a defense can do. Time of possession, the Eagles destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. They held the ball for almost 35 minutes. And when you have a defense that's already struggling, you got to kind of save them by, prolonging your drives offensively. And when you get down to the red zone offensively, you got to cash in. There could be no more field goal kicks and turnovers in the red zone. It's a dagger to a team's confidence going forward, and that's exactly what we saw this afternoon. The defense, they had some bright spots, but they were just on the field a little bit too long.
Just more than enough. We thought he was going to score early. Here go Diggs, big play. Sacked by Parsons. Sack, fumble. I mean, doing his thing. Overshown, continue to shine, continue to do what they have to do. If we could just find some consistency on our offense, some type of balance. And I know we got to get Philadelphia, Jalen Carter, all of those guys, great Sweat, these guys, great guys. But you got to start building some confidence. I think our defense is finally settling down and finding out who they are. It's just we have to offensively settle down. We saw how Austin Richards filled in very well for Tyler Guyton. We just got to get consistent. We just got to come out in the 3rd quarter and be a football team.
Yeah, that 3rd quarter was another big bugaboo for the Cowboys today as we take a look at how this one unfolded in Arlington. It was the first game without Dak Prescott in the fold. Cooper Rush starting at quarterback, going up against Jalen Hurts for the first time in their career. Scoreless in the first, Dallas on their 2nd drive of the game. Cooper Rush turning and to give to Rico Dowdle the fumble on the handoff, and Philadelphia recovers. They take over at the 17-yard line. 4 plays later, Eagles in the goal line where they've been so efficient with Jalen Hurts, they go up 7-0. Into the 2nd we go. First play of the quarter, Jalen Hurts aiming for Dallas Goedert in the back of the end zone. He finds Trayvon Diggs instead. Big stop for the defense, even bigger confidence boost for Trayvon Diggs. Time winding down in the 2nd quarter, Dallas moving the ball on offense. Rico Dowdle takes this one into Philadelphia territory, 19 yards on the tote. And then a couple plays later, they go back to the ground, but this time it's Ezekiel Elliott. 15th play of the drive, and it ends up in the end zone. Recovered by DeJean, and Philadelphia takes over. Barry, you can't have this.
You can't have this. Not in the red zone. And that was a great hit by DeJean right there, but those are the opportunities that you got to cash in on.
Tough break for Dallas, deflating even at that point in the game, but there's someone that made their return on the defense today. His name, Micah Parsons. The Lion forces the fumble. Maris Leofau recovers it, and Dallas, with their 5th sack of the first half, they take over on the 6-yard line. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, they can't turn it into 6. They had to settle for a field goal. Philly got the ball back with 1:43 left in the half. They only needed 1:20 for Jalen Hurts to roll out of the pocket on the run, find Dallas Goedert at the goal line, into the end zone. He goes, his first touchdown of the year for the Eagles, and the Eagles had a 14-6 lead at the break. 2nd drive of the 3rd quarter, much of the same for Philadelphia. Plenty of time for Hurts. They go 7 plays and a wide open Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone makes it a bigger Philadelphia lead. After a 3-and-out, Philly goes 7 plays again, this time capped off by the 8-yard touchdown scramble from Jalen Hurts, 28-6 Eagles. And then just when the vibes were down for the Cowboys, this one felt like a whole new low. Cooper Rush sacked on the play, loses the ball in the process. Terrence Steele, who allowed the sack, tries to salvage it, but can never secure possession. Philly turns it into 3. They would tack on 3 more by the end of this one, and it was 34-6. The Cowboys held underneath 150 total yards. They were held to 3 of 14 on third down and doubled up in the first down category. Time of possession, turnovers, all of those things in favor of the NFC East rival in the Philadelphia Eagles as they win in AT&T Stadium for the first time since 2017. When we come back, we are just outside the Cowboys locker room. We're going to hear some locker room reaction, starting with Mike McCarthy. Head coach Mike McCarthy hitting to the podium. We'll talk to him right after the break with more Cowboys OT.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys OT, live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The Cowboys fall 34-6, the final against the Philadelphia Eagles. There were a couple of heated exchanges on the sideline from the Cowboys coaching staff and players. The frustration starting to build over the course of this 4-game losing streak. Let's go to the podium and hear from head coach Mike McCarthy after the game.
Well, I mean, I thought the defense came out, played very well in the first half. You know, they just had the one touchdown there at the 2-minute spot. You know, we gave them the ball on the first turnover. To me, the games was about the giveaways. You know, it's unacceptable. Our last 2 home games, we've had 10 giveaways. You can't win games at any level like that. To be in there at halftime in a 1-score game and to go out there and turn that ball over 3 times, that's, you know, so we have to, you know, we need to make some adjustments. Or I mean, it's, you know, it's the same thing happened to Detroit. The game gets away from you and you can't get back into it. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm sure, you know, as I'm sure everybody is.
I'll say Dallas. Can you just talk about Cooper's game? There was not a lot down the field. What was the, you know, obviously most things were close to the line of scrimmage. Was there not enough time to go down the field? You just talk about how he played and.
Well, I think it was, you know, Evan, I think the game we wanted to play was the 15-play drive, you know, and really just try to capitalize off our defense. You know, just like anything, you always feel like you have a good plan. The men have had a good weeks of work. You know, we got the big turnover there down there, tight in the red area, and you know, didn't convert it to 7 points. But you know, the 15-play drive and then turning the ball over, you know, that was definitely a gut shot for us. But you know, that's the game that I was trying to play. You know, we had some shots down the field, but yeah, we didn't run it good enough, and we obviously didn't pass protect good enough. We didn't throw good enough. I didn't call plays good enough. But you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You can't win not taking care of the damn ball. I mean, that's you can't sugarcoat that anyway. 5 turnovers, it's unacceptable.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. What do you see for Trey Lance moving forward? I know he played very little, but in terms of starting games?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're not there yet. You know, I mean, we had a package for him. You know, we wanted to get him into the flow of the game was the thought process coming in here. So, and then to get him in when we did, you know, and then I took him out on the third down. Just, you know, I just believe in, you know, reps. I mean, there's that third down segment there. You know, not that he couldn't run the plays. I didn't want to put him in there something that he, you know, hadn't had a lot of reps in. So, so I'll put Cooper back in for that play after that. You know, for third down we had the fumble, the turnover there. But you know, it's something we'll obviously discuss tomorrow.
Did you feel like?
So I'm going to read off a couple stats for you guys here. 82-22. That's how much the Cowboys have been outscored in the third quarter alone. Talk about red zone turnovers. They're dead last in terms of red zone turnovers over the course of the NFL season so far. I mean, he talked about it. The defense played well enough.
Oh, yeah.
The offense had an opportunity, and they did not convert on multiple occasions. I think when you go back and you look at this game, you're going to see the third quarter and you're going to see the defense and some lapses. They weren't perfect either.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to put together a complete game, and Mike McCarthy talked about it there. They did not do so again, and that's why the Cowboys fell.
Yeah, the coach is 1,000% correct. I agree with him on this side. The defense did enough to win this ball game. You hold Saquon Barkley, who's one of the most explosive running backs in the National Football League, to under 80 yards, rushing the football. You sack the quarterback 5 times. You create 2 takeaways, a sack, forced fumble, which gives your offense the ball in their red zone, and you also take points off of the board for them when you pick off a pass in the end zone like we saw Diggs do. So the defense definitely did enough to get the job done, but once again, it comes down to taking care of the football, and when you lose the turnover battle, 4-2, I believe it was, in favor of the Philadelphia Eagles, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that ball game.
You said it. I mean, if you'd have told us before this game that Saquon Barkley would be up under 80, 85 yards.
Yeah.
Total offense. They built this team. Kellen Moore has evolved this team into Saquon Barkley's team, but we did that defensively. We sacked the quarterback 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
A sack fumble by Parsons. You did everything defensively, but it's just like Coach McCarthy said, you down in the red zone, you give up the ball. You got a critical play right before you give up the football. You can't do that. You can't drop the ball on the ground as a quarterback. Zeke is a veteran.
Yeah.
You went 11 plays. You're on your 12th or 15th play, and all of a sudden you barreling in there and you don't protect the football. Great hit by the guy, but you're a veteran guy. You should know this is what you do best, and people are coming at that ball. Offense, they have to find a way. They have to find a way to pick it up.
Well, we've seen it already. Last year, Hunter Lipke fumbles at the goal line.
Yep.
He doesn't get a touch for the rest of the year. Earlier in the campaign, Rico Dowdle fumbles at the goal line. He gets put on the inactive list for the following week. Ezekiel Elliott fumbles at the goal line. They give him the next carry, and then we'll see what happens from this point forward. So kind of a tough break for the Cowboys offense, but at the same time, you got to hold on to the football. Ball security, the name of the game. When we come back, we'll hear from Cooper Rush on what he thought in his debut as the starter here in 2024. Lots more to come here on Cowboys OT.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys fall at home 34-6, the final score. Cooper Rush finishes 13 of 23 passing for 45 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. His final stat line in his first game as a starter here in 2024. Let's hear from Cooper Rush at the podium.
Game today.
Yeah, totally. Defense was out there. They were balling versus very good offense, getting turnovers. They did their part, and we just left them out there to dry.
Clarence Hill, City, Dallas. Can you talk about the first fumble and what happened there, just the snap?
Just got to catch that. Got to catch it. Just dropped it, and yeah, that one hurt us for sure.
Did you think you had recovered it? He took it after you were over the pile, under the pile?
I thought I had. I think I smoked pretty good, I guess, and that's when he took it, and yeah, I got following it faster and catch the ball and start off stronger that way. But our defense, the whole first half with that mistake and everything else, played so well, and so I was proud of them for that.
Cooper, Todd Archer with ESPN. After Micah forced the fumble, you down there, 2nd and goal. You throw it to, I don't know if you throw it to Jake or CeeDee in there. Can you kind of walk us through that? And do you think the sun played a factor in CeeDee not being?
Yeah, I was throwing to CeeDee. He's open over there, coming across the middle. I didn't see it. I threw and got hit. I didn't see what happened. Heard it was the sun. I don't know.
Cooper, when Trey initially went in the game, it looked like you were also running out. Just what was the communication at that point?
Yeah, we had some package plays for Trey and a couple of the zone read stuff and power read stuff that he does that has a lot of history with. And so yeah, at that point, it was just that package was going in.
And then when he did go in for good the rest of the game, what was the conversation between you and the coaches?
Yeah, Trey was up. Just needed a spark. Had to get something going.
Yeah. Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. A couple years ago, you were 5-1 as a starter, kept things rolling. What made today such a bigger challenge to try to get this team going?
Yeah, just didn't play well enough. We ran it well in the first half. We just didn't capitalize sometimes down there in the red zone. A couple good long drives. Defense gets a turnover, and we don't capitalize. And it can snowball fast when you don't take care of the ball as well. Like you said earlier, spotted them one early in the first quarter, and then going in the end zone. So
turnovers will always kill you, and we had a chance with the defense playing well and to overcome those, come out of halftime, and we just didn't.
Hey, cool. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. You guys haven't been able to get a win at home quite yet. What's the challenge and the message for the locker room going forward as far as trying to, stop the bleeding with the Houston Texans coming in next week?
Yeah, you just got to keep playing. The NFL, it's not stopping for anybody. Next week's coming. Next team's coming in here on a Monday night, and so it's right back to work. And it's just, no one's stopping or slowing down. You just got to keep on going.
Dave, these teams the last few years that you've been on have done such a good job of not turning the ball over. Is there anything you can pinpoint on just how uncharacteristic the season's been to this point? What's going on?
Yeah, it's just it's kind of the Achilles heel right now in turnovers, and as long as football's been around, those have mattered the most. And they're just coming in bunches right now, and we got to stop it.
All right. Thank you, Cooper.
Thanks, guys.
Turnovers come in bunches. You heard it there from Cooper Rush. And it's true. I mean, turnovers breed other turnovers because then you kind of go downhill. You're trying to do too much, and it forces too much. I mean, you saw it from Terrence Steele. I thought that play right there was a microcosm of a lot of this season for Terrence Steele. You allow the strip sack. Then you're trying to do something to fix it, and you're trying to pick up the loose football. And in doing so, you fumble it even more, and then it's a recovery for Philadelphia, and it turns into points. It was late in the game by that point. But going back to Cooper Rush, what did you think about his debut and really the lack of production surrounding it?
Well, it's just not going to get it done. We all understand that. I think he was, 13 for 23, 45 yards out there. That's not going to win you ball games in the National Football League. And
it's a shocking stat line.
Extremely shocking. And I'm not going to say, I don't want to question the game plan or anything like that because these coaches know more about football than I'll ever know. But when you understand that, your offensive line is not playing well, you're going against one of the teams that leads the National Football League in sacks, you would think the ball had to come out of Cooper Rush's hands extremely fast. Like a lot of three-step drops, screens, something to get the ball out of his hands fast. We just didn't see that this afternoon. There was a lot of five-step drops, a lot of him back there patting the ball, waiting for wide receivers to get open. That's not the game plan you need to go against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that loves to pressure the quarterback and get after the quarterback, and that's exactly what we saw this afternoon.
They were sharp. The Eagles were sharp. What I saw on film is it always took them a time to kind of build up, but they were sharp today.
Yeah.
I'm talking about defensively, and they got after him. I mean, they tried some swing passes out of backfield, instant hit.
Yep.
No gains. You saw a bunch of no gains early on the short passing game, and then when he tried to sit back there, that was a no-no. That opened up the floodgate. So, hey, first day was rough with Cooper, but you got to get back to the chopping blocks. He's a professional. He knows what he has to do. Coach McCarthy got to get to the chopping block. He got to come up with something that's going to work. I mean, you got the offensive line didn't play that bad.
Yeah.
They had a running game in the first half. What happened? Come back and try to duplicate that right there because you do have a quarterback that has not had a lot of reps this season. So Coach McCarthy got to go back to the drawing board with his offensive coordinator, or quarterback coach, and figure out what he needs to do to help Cooper Rush be productive.
Yeah, back to the drawing board indeed going into the week. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. You get a longer week, which is great. You get 8 days to prepare for Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans right back here on the 18th. That's a Houston Texans team playing well as they continue this season too. So when we come back, we flip to the defensive side of the football. Micah Parsons had some fireworks in the locker room just next to us after the game. We'll hear from Micah and really the ripple effect that might take place from here when we come back. Cowboys OT rolling on from AT&T Stadium following the 34-6 loss for the Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 10 is now in the books, and it's the first time we've seen Micah Parsons in quite some time. Let's hear from Micah after the game.
Yeah, we had a great message in chapel this week, man. You got to be the light. Even when other sides of that offense, light isn't shining as hard as, past, that offense has always kind of shined brighter than us, and we kind of needed their juice to big us up. We got to be the offense's light this time. Every time we had a turnover, I looked at the guy and said, we knew some bad shit was going to happen. I mean, that's where we at with this. So, but we got to be the light. We got to hold them to 3. And, I think they earned one good drive. Before half, I give them that drive, but, I feel like some things gave them some aspects of the game gave them those other touchdowns. But overall, I'm happy for these defensive guys, how they played. Obviously, you want some plays back. A couple of those penalties cost us, but I'm happy in the direction where we're going.
How's your ankle feeling?
Right now, I'm juiced up, so I'm probably cool, but I might be in a boot tomorrow.
Hey, Micah, how demoralizing was it when you got the fumble on the 6 and you weren't able to punch it in and take the lead and settle for a field goal and made it 7-6?
Hey, like I said, be the light. You can't let it get to you. Understand that, our quarterback's out. Things ain't always going to be how you expect it. And you kind of just got to be the light, and I just sideline, bringing the guys back up. It's all right. We got to do our job. We just got to get the ball back. So, it's one of them years where, like I said, it's challenging, but we got to be the light for everybody.
Where were you when you heard the news about Dak? What was your reaction? And with him out, do you have to be more of a leader on game day? Yeah, for sure.
I think this team needs a heart, a soul. Obviously missing Dak and his energy, the things that he brings to this game. As I try to do that for our defense, I got to do it for the offensive guys too, and play harder and do everything I can to build this team back up.
What was your reaction?
Obviously devastating. Anytime you lose your starting quarterback that, you kind of banking on, it hurts everybody.
And just as you're coming back, he's going out.
Yeah, just as I'm coming back.
Mike's on the final year of his contract, so outside there's, of course, going to be questions. What's the sentiment inside the locker room, and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether McCarthy will be your coach next year?
That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But guys, I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
You guys were 2-2 when you got hurt. You're 3-6 now and seemingly well out of the playoff picture. How do you contend with the feeling that the season is lost?
Be the light. Even when it's dark as fuck, light up, bro.
Thank you. Well, depending on how much sports television you watch, you'll probably hear that quote at some point later on down the line. More work than Mike McCarthy ever did. I mean, that's significant, especially coming from a defensive player. And you could feel him in the frustration there. He thought his defense played well enough, and he was backing up his guys. Yeah. Talking about DeMarvion Overshown, talking about himself, talking about the guys at the second level like Maris Leofau and some of those others that played well. However, he did put some blame on the offense, which is fair, but you never want to say anything like that in the media after a loss like that. That's tough to listen to.
Yeah, that one was extremely tough to listen to. And I understand, people are going to be frustrated out there, both offensively and defensively. This team is 3-6 right now. So you see frustration starting to boil over. But at the end of the day, you got to remain a professional, and you got to have your teammates back and your coaches back as well. I mean, this is a family. You guys are all going to war together at the same to try to achieve the same exact goal. It's not working out for you right now. We all understand that. But that's not a reason to go ahead and throw your coach under the bus. We're talking about a coach that's a Super Bowl winning coach. Granted, it was 14 years ago, but the guy has been to the top of the tower. He understands what it takes to get there and win that trophy. So for him to go out there and say, these guys are putting way more work than your coach, who's after the game plan for all of this, who knows how late he's staying at the facilities to be able to get his team going in the right direction. I just feel like that was out of line, and you got to be more professional than that.
They had a question to him about leadership, and he said about Dak being a spiritual leader of the team, or the soul of the team. And I just say, choose your words carefully, young man. If you're going to be that leader, you got to remember, you got to be hands in hands with your coach, too. Yeah. And that's your head football coach. That is your offensive coordinator. Yes, you had it right. He's trying to be quote scripture, be that light. Be that light, young man. Don't throw the salt in the game, as they would say.
That's what
Don't do that. Don't do that, Michael. You're bigger than that.
And this may be nothing. It might blow over, and they may talk it through, and there may not be anything really significant, or it could turn into something significant. Because whenever you have a losing streak like this and things aren't necessarily going your way, things tend to compound a little bit, and you're starting to see that, I think, after this fourth straight loss, especially being at home and against a divisional rival. When we come back, let's hear from CeeDee Lamb. He had his own exchange on the sideline with Mike McCarthy, was a little frustrated on the offensive side of the ball as well. More Cowboys OT after the loss to Philadelphia right after this. CeeDee Lamb, along with the rest of the Cowboys offense, limited in the 34-6 loss to Philadelphia here in Week 10. Welcome back back to Cowboys OT. We're outside the Cowboys locker room at AT&T Stadium. Let's go back inside and hear from CeeDee Lamb.
Prepare the right way. Practice hard. Come out on Sunday. Hoping to execute.
That play with you and Ferguson, a little bit of miscommunication.
Couldn't see the ball. Couldn't see the ball at all.
Was it the sun?
The sun. What?
Are you in favor of curtains?
Yes, 1,000%.
You talked to Barry about that.
I mean, y'all doing my job right now.
How tough was it to get going offensively tonight?
It's pretty bad. Obviously, we didn't get in the end zone. The defense did a great job of giving us a short field. We didn't score. I think we were inside the 5. So that's your answer right there.
When Cooper came in the Atlanta game, had some really good throws,
Right.
in the end zone for almost a touchdown.
Right.
What looked different when coming from him?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you because I was running my route. To be honest, but as far as I don't think he was given the right opportunities as far as certain situations, certain plays. I feel like we could have been better in that area. Overall, we could be better.
Is that from what the defense did or what you guys are trying to call?
We just didn't execute on offense to the plays that were called.
How hard is it to get the news about Dak reportedly being done for the year? And what have you said to him?
What have I said to him? I'm obviously praying for a speedy recovery. I'm always in his corner. And then whenever it does happen, he has to let me know immediately, or whoever's around him just let me know, so I can be there for him, help him get through this thing, and then when he shakes back, we'll be all right.
How much of a blow is that?
Last question.
It's terrible. It's a quarterback, bro. In the NFL, you know how hard it is. Appreciate y'all.
That's the second straight player we've talked to that's had a little frustration whenever it comes to play calling or leadership up front. I mean, it continues to kind of compound on one another. Back with Barry Church and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. CeeDee Lamb has been expected to carry the load of this offense quite a bit, and that was with Dak Prescott in the fold. Without Dak Prescott, of course, we saw what it looked like today. What is your confidence level like in this offense as a group, as a whole, moving into the second half of the season?
Well, my confidence in this offense right now is extremely low. And to me, the reason for that is, one, you have no type of run game right now. No type of run game, no balance, no identity to your offense. And it starts up front. The offensive line, they're not doing a really good job in protecting the quarterback or creating those run lanes. We saw Rico Dowdle get a little bit going here in the first half of this game. And last week, I believe he had around 75 yards. But as a totality, I mean, it's just not been clicking in the right direction when you look at it offensively. This is the same, wide receiver last year that had over 1,400 yards receiving, that led the league in touchdowns. I believe he had 17 touchdowns last year. And it didn't matter when teams were double cover him, triple cover him. It didn't matter. He was able to go out there and get the job done. That's why, when I see these type of comments, it's not my job for play calling and this, that, and the third. Whatever happened to just looking in the mirror and saying, man, what can I do better? Like, how can I get open for this offense? How can I present myself a better target for the quarterback to get me the football? It's just those type of things that are just snowballing this team right now. It's not working out in the Cowboys' advantage.
Right now, it's just, I've been there. You've been there. When the losing start, the rumors start about your coaches, players, as the games goes on and they're not successful, the team not successful, they start speaking their mind.
Yeah.
Especially guys that are locked in, that's going to be here. They start speaking their mind on what they feel about a coach. But I say to you, young men, be careful what you say. The next coach may not be that guy that you can just step on like that. So be careful what you say now.
Especially after a game like that, because you had the defensive side of the football play well. You had the offensive side of the football not hold their own. It does. It goes both ways. It certainly does. And I think there's ways that you can continue to move together forward, but it's tough whenever it all kind of comes together like it did today. 34-6, the final score. Philadelphia on top. One of the bright spots for the Cowboys, like we mentioned with Micah Parsons, was also DeMarvion Overshown, except he went down late in the fourth quarter. He did speak to the media, which is a good sign. We'll hear from Demo, maybe an injury update, and see what he's doing moving forward going into Week 11 of the NFL season. There weren't a ton of bright spots in the Cowboys' 34-6 loss to Philadelphia. One of those was the play of DeMarvion Overshown in the first half. He had a shot out of a cannon sack of Jalen Hurts to bring an end to a Philadelphia drive. He continued that into the second half before leaving the game with a right knee injury. And, of course, coming off of the left knee and a torn ACL last preseason, it was a tough scene to see him out of the game and heading to the injury tent and then the locker room where he did not return. But he did talk to the media, which is a positive sign. Let's hear from Demo and maybe get an update on how he's feeling after the loss.
I'm great. I'll be ready to go next week.
Defense came out to a fast start this time against the Eagles. And just talk about the mindset going into this game and how you guys were able to carry it. You had a breakout game. Just how are you feeling after that despite the loss?
We knew that they was going. We had to come out hot defensively, especially with a couple guys down on offense. But we knew we had to take it to them. They were going to try to run it down our throats at the beginning of the game. So we had to set the tone of, this is what we're not having. I think we was feeling good coming out of halftime, and we just let it slip away from us in the third quarter. Just small things. And you look up fourth quarter, now you fight. So good ball club we just faced, but. We definitely was in spots to win that game.
Could you tell that the team, the defense was getting a spark off of you and Micah's performances, the way you guys were all over the place?
That's just one thing about having our guy back. We know 11's going to draw a lot of attention anyways, anywhere he puts. So it gives players like myself the opportunity to make some plays. I was able to capitalize on some of those. Missed the crucial sack in the red zone. It's going to hunt me. But we got one of our guys back. You can tell it definitely, lit a fire under everybody. And I think it's more to come with 11 and 13 out there together.
With 8 games left, what's the mindset right now? I know it's kind of tough.
We got to win one every week. We got to win one. This was a big one being a division game. We know how, the NFL plays out. You never know to that last week. So we just got to go 1-0. And I know it's easy to say and it's cliche to say, but that's the mindset, and that's what we got to get back to as a football team, as an organization in general. Just 1-0 mindset.
You said you were used to it. You came down the hallway with a pretty significant limp. Is it just sore, but it's structurally sound? What did you learn from whatever you looked at?
Football, it was just one of those bump and bruise things. We're gonna get it more images tomorrow, but I was good to go back out. I just didn't feel stable, didn't feel strong, and so that was the call made to let me sit in the fourth quarter.
DeMarvion Overshown giving us a quick injury update. Thank goodness he says, I'm good to go. I'll be back next week. And last week, whenever CeeDee Lamb was dealing with the AC joint injury, he said the same thing. And sure enough, he was back out on the field today. So good things moving forward with DeMarvion Overshown from a health standpoint. Let's talk positively about this defense because it hasn't been positive every week throughout the year, but they did some things today that I think you can build on behind Mike Zimmer, behind Micah Parsons, DeMarvion Overshown and company.
Yeah, without a doubt. We saw a defense that, at least for the first half, was flying around the football. I mean, we saw Overshown, what he was able to bring to the table. This is a young star on the rise. I mean, his sideline-to-sideline ability is, it's not matched anywhere else. So to me, with him combined with Micah Parsons coming off the edge and coming back, this defense is going to gradually continue to get better. Hopefully it's just not, too late in the season to be able to make a run at things. But I love what I've seen from DeMarvion Overshown. 5 sacks on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a good offensive line that those guys have went against. So to me, that's a bright spot that you can see within this defense. They just have to make it a complete game. We haven't seen one of those since the Cleveland Browns game during week 1, but they have to have a complete game defensively for all 4 quarters, not just a shine in the first half and then kind of trail off as the second half goes on. But we did see some bright spots from Overshown, from Micah Parsons and the crew out there. So I like what I saw defensively overall.
I like what you're saying, Bird. His defense is getting a little bit better each week, and I think last week against Atlanta, they held the running back down about 86 yards. A nice guy to Bijan Robinson, who this guy here loves to death over here to my left. But it's okay, man. You saw what they pulling it together, man. And as they continue to build in this defense and get better, let's hope the offense can come along. But Overshown is a different level, man.
Yeah.
He can be one of these unsung heroes, one of these unsung leaders. He just keep playing, say things at the right time, get people going his way because his motor is relentless.
I think the combination that you have between those two guys, Micah and DeMarvion Overshown help out your secondary a
Yes.
significant amount.
Yes.
And it also helps out your second level, your linebackers. I thought Eric Hendricks played decent today. I thought Maris Leofau had a solid game in limited snaps as well. I mean, there were different things that this Cowboys defense did today that you could take forward. The one thing that concerned me was the depth. And it did kind of fizzle out in that second half. A lot of it because the offense put them in some tough situations, and they weren't necessarily great. But the final drive of that second quarter is what stands out to me as, okay, we're back to what it was.
Yeah.
You had some lapses from guys like Donovan Wilson on the back end. Kalen Carson had a rough day.
He did have a rough
Kalen
outing,
Carson was rough. Barry, I'll ask you that real quick before we go to break. Kalen Carson, where do you go next with the rookie?
You got to get his confidence back up. Right now, I'm looking at a player at the cornerback position that lacks confidence. You see how far he's playing off of some of these wide receivers. When you're matched up against an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, I understand those are some of the elite wide receivers in the National Football League. But when it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, you can't be playing 11 yards off the ball. I mean, that's just pitching catching. We saw that a couple times, especially in that last drive heading into halftime. They kind of picked on number 21, Kellen Carson, out there. He just has to get his confidence up, but this is a guy that has all the ability in the world.
We've got more locker room reaction and more post-game reaction coming your way from AT&T Stadium here in a moment. Right after this with more Cowboys OT.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Back here on Cowboys OT from AT&T Stadium. It's now time to hear from Jerry Jones. He spoke to the media following the game, and he was actually right behind us as it happened. Let's hear his thoughts after the 34-6 loss.
Guys, I'll answer your questions, but last 2 games here, we've had 5 turnovers each game. We played a team. It was a good team out there today. We've got some more of them to play, too. But you can't win games turning the ball over 5 times. So that's what we've got.
Gary, is this as frustrated as you've been with the team in this situation?
Well, I'm just frustrated like everybody else is, but since I had a lot to do with what we're seeing, then it's the proper frustration as far as I'm concerned, that we're just not playing in a way, especially when you play a team that is the caliber of teams that we're playing out here. And Philadelphia's a high-caliber team, and we're not up to them. And that's troubling, and we've got to look at all the things that have happened. But I'll just say this right now, 5 turnovers over the last 2 games. And I don't know what we're drinking in the third quarter as we come out, but it's not working.
Jerry, can you confirm that Dak will have season-ending surgery?
I won't know because we're still evaluating him.
Do you still have hope for the season that things can turn around?
Well, listen, I don't even understand not having hope. Now, we've got, 8 more ball games? If you'll help me with my arithmetic here, since I can't do some other things right. So, bottom line is that we've got 8 ball games. That used to be 80% of a college season. That's a lot of football left. We've got a lot to work on that we can do better than that. But we were within striking distance as we came out for the third quarter, and that's very disappointing that we did all the things we did and end up with a game like that.
If Dak cannot come back, how much does that hurt your hopes for this season?
Well, I don't want to deal in hypotheticals, but anybody that loses their top quarterback has some adjustments to make, and they're usually adjusting uphill. And so I thought that basically we'd look better tonight without Dak. I thought we'd look better on offense than we looked without Dak. I've seen Cooper play better than we played tonight. Philadelphia's got a lot to do with that. That's what it is.
Jerry, what role do you feel like coaching played in these losses, and where does your confidence on the coaches stand?
Well, again, everybody's got a hand in this, and we all know that the players play the game, and we know the closest ones to them are the coaches. Closest one to them are the people that hire the coaches, and so everybody's got a role in this. Everyone does.
How surprised are you?
Everyone has a role in this. Jerry Jones finishing out his media. You can catch all of it on DallasCowboys.com. But when we come back, I want Barry Church and Nate Newton to give their thoughts on what the owner, president, and GM for the Cowboys just said. Following the loss to Philadelphia, more reaction after Jerry Jones' words here on Cowboys OT. We wrap things up next.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Unfortunate endings at AT&T Stadium today for the Cowboys. 34-6 the final as we wrap up Cowboys OT from inside the hallways of AT&T. Alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. We just heard from Jerry Jones. Your initial reaction on his thoughts? I mean, he talked about how everyone owns a part in this. Yeah. It's true whenever the season goes like this.
Yeah, he's frustrated, just like, the fan base is frustrated. I'm sure the team and the players, we heard from them all during this post game, how frustrated they seemed as well. But, when you look at it, he, had bigger goals for this team coming into the season. You're coming off of 3 straight 12-5 seasons where, last year Dak was second in the MVP voting. I mean, your defense was on fire and you ended up losing a heartbreaker to Green Bay in the playoffs. So you come into this season thinking, man, we got the squad. We got the squad to be able to do something out here. You suffer a couple injuries, and then the season, as of it is right now, has been going downhill. 3-6. That's not what anybody, predicted for the Dallas Cowboys so far this season. So you see the frustrations boiling over. Your offense is looking pedestrian. Defense, for the most part of this season, has not been playing up to par. So the frustrations are boiling over, and when your stars aren't playing the way you think they should be able to play, leading this team, it makes you even more frustrated. So I understand where he's coming from, but overall, the Cowboys, they've got to look themselves in the mirror, and they've got to look forward and figure out how they can turn this season around for the rest of the go.
This is the rewards of being 12-5 last year, being second slotted in the playoffs. This is the record you get. You're playing a bunch of playoff teams and teams with winning records.
Yes.
So, yeah, you either pick your game up, and it starts with Coach McCarthy.
Yeah, you definitely you play the schedule in which you are given.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, unfortunately for the Cowboys, we talked about it weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you ended up with the third win, and you said, hey, the next couple of games are going to be tough. You got Pittsburgh. You somehow snuck out a win there. Then you go up against teams like Philadelphia, teams like Houston coming up next week on Monday Night Football. And then, of course, the 4-game losing streak is now a reality. You got a chance to turn it around next week, but you don't have a ton of time to figure it out as well. Houston coming to town, Monday Night Football on the 18th. Oh, man, it's going to be a tough one. Here from AT&T Stadium, we'll be here, win or lose, to break it down for you for Cowboys OT. For Barry Church, for Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long. 34-6 the final. The Cowboys fall to 3-6. We'll see you next time on Cowboys OT.